welcome to Posca Club. We're drawing like these Zonk Freak Pet Squad characters this week. We've just drawn a really cool little character. That one using just the black marker pens, which was really nice. This time around, we're going to draw a little character from the Zonk Freak Pet Squad. So tricky to say. Called Invader Bunny. Invader Bunny is like a robot bunny head with like metal tentacles coming out the bottom. Now we're not going to draw the metal tentacles coming out the bottom because they're going to take too long, but we are definitely going to draw the head and the two antennas and make it look. There's some really nice little circles that we're going to draw in there to make it's going to make it look really interesting. Really happy with how this one's going to look. So that's what we're going to draw, like a rabbit robot kind of thing. These are the colours that we're going to use. So the green and the light green up the top here, they're the main two colours that I'm going to use for the character. The main colour is going to be this light green. This green colour is going to be for like some of the trimming around the character, okay? Into sky blue and light blue. The reason for that is the character's going to have a couple of buttons knocking around it, which are going to be, or a couple of lights I should say, which are going to be in probably one of the blues, but then we're also going to do like reflective eyes on this character, try and make it look a little bit like glass. So we're going to use the sky blue and the light blue for that as well. Holding things together, like the tentacles down the bottom, we're not going to draw those tentacles, but if you wanted to do them, this is where the grey and the light grey and deep grey kind of come in handy. Also going to the bits that are attached to the ears, I guess, are going to be in these two colours as well. Pink is just a really beautiful accent colour, which goes, the opposite end of the spectrum to all these other colours. We're going to draw a little nose in with pink, and we're going to draw the tips of the ears in with pink as well. It'll really pop out, that pink will. So a nice bright pink, a couple of black pens. All of these are 5Ms, so that we can colour in quick. Black is going to be in a 3M and a 1M so that we can outline thin. They're the colours I'm using. Now the next few lines, if you're inclined to work with pencil, then grab a pencil. If like me you want to go straight in with a marker pen, then go in with a marker pen. It's always good to challenge yourself with going straight in. We're going to go in, if you are using marker pens, whatever the two main colours are that you are going to use, we're going to go in with those. And we'll go in with the lighter colour first. So for me it was light green and green. We're going to go in with the light green first, okay? So here we go. Let's go and throw in a few shapes. First main shape, about halfway up your page, because we're going to leave the space for tentacles just in case you want to draw them. Halfway up your page, leave a fairly big chunk of space across the top because we've got the rabbit ears poking out the top. We're going to start with a big dome. Something like that, big old dome across the top there, and then we're going to join the bottom part up. So whereas that's a big curve for the top, the bottom part is going to be a real slight curve. That is our rabbit head that we've got in there. Two more lines inside the rabbit head because the character is going to be looking that way just a little tiny bit, so these next two lines become the central part. Inside these next two lines is where we draw the nose, okay? So what we'll do is we'll start about here and have a bit of a curve coming up there and off. So those two curves, same curves, just that becomes the centre of our character and looking that way.
Oh, if I was drawing, I'm drawing on a square.
Yep.
Do I need to think about placement up and down?
Yeah, so I mean, in today's session, I'm not drawing anything else down the bottom here other than a couple of teeth which are going to hang out there, just little tiny teeth. So from a positioning point of view, that is your square. Yeah, okay. From about there, I reckon. But just because the ears, which I'm going to outline now, are really important to this character, and they're kind of the thing that makes this character work. So without further ado, let's go and put those ears in. So again, with your light grey, we're going to put two ovals in, okay? So imagine one's kind of coming out from this kind of angle. Let's go and put it in. Let's go with a shape like that. and then another oval, the same kind of oval, kind of like a fat sausage shape, same kind of shape, just shift it over this way a little bit. Let's go for something like that. So you see that's two ovals. This one is just kind of leaning over that way a little bit. This one's a little bit more upright. That's all with your lighter green, okay? What we're going to do now is those of us that are inking in straight away, let's go and grab the other green, the darker colour. So whatever your two main colours are that you're using for your character, we've done the light green bits. Let's go and do the normal green bits. Stick with the pencil if that is your preference. Let's go and put some green bits in. We're going to start at the top, work our way down. Now at the tip of these are ears up here, okay? At the tip of these ears we're going to draw two circles. One circle will sit just here. Whoops. There you go. Just on the tip of that ear. You see just a slight overlap either side. But then the second circle is going to go inside that, but right up the top as well. So just here, look. So inside that, right at the top. Let's try and do the same kind of thing on the other ear. So you've got your first circle just there, and then another circle inside, right at the top. Maybe even a bit of an oval to it. Circles are probably better in there. Mine's got a bit of an oval to it, but that's all right. The main thing is that we get this really nice shape of this like bounce, this little crease, these little creases coming in just there. That's the bit we're aiming for. Okay, let's bring it down. We're going to put in two more ovals and a rim. The two ovals either side for the eyes, okay? So let's go in just here. Now the only thing with this next oval is it needs to touch this bottom line, but then just park it in between here somewhere. Like that. Throw another line on the inside of that as well. So this is for the outside edge of the eye. So everything that goes inside this is going to be the eye. So that's the bit we're going to colour in blue, and it's going to have this nice green rim around it. Now the bit to really pay attention to is the gap that you've got just there in between the green and the light green, because as we do the eye on the other side, that's the kind of gap that you want to mirror as much as possible. So from about there, make sure you're hitting that bottom bit. And we're putting another oval in there. Another one on the inside as well. And you can see that what we should have here is that the eyes and the centre of the head are all kind of shoved over this side of the character to make the character look like it's looking that way. Should have a lot of blank space there. Hopefully you've got a lot of blank space there. It doesn't matter too much if it's only a little bit of space. That's kind of where you need to be. Now last line is to throw in a rim, so stick with that darker colour. We're going to go from this side, we're going to hook around all the way around the bottom and then hook around to the far side again. So just there. In fact, I'll zoom in on this bit. From there, look, around that bit. Hook it round to the other side. So we've got a bit of a rim going on there. Now the original character, if you want to dig out the original character, Invader Bunny, just in case you want to put the bottom part in, does have a couple of teeth, like a little blue body, and then four like grey tentacles all kind of hanging down the bottom here. Between me and you, I hate drawing tentacles. They're tricky little things to draw. And we won't get the whole thing done in 1 hour session anyway. Okay, last bit. Last bit of our guidelines, so last bit of pencil lines, whatever, however you're doing this, is with that grey, that lighter grey. What we're going to do is we're going to bring, let me zoom it in a little bit and bring it up there. We're going to attach things together. So the ears, we're going to attach them to the top of the head. Main thing for this is this kind of little this tube, I guess, that attaches them together wants to be a little bit fatter where it touches the ears, a little bit thinner where it touches the head. Okay, so something like this, so just a little curve there, a little curve there. Same on this kind of side. It's going to be really interesting to see if anybody's got bigger or shorter gaps there, because you could move those ears quite a long way higher up and have these bits a little bit longer. Last bit with the grey. Just a little line going across there, little diagonal line. This bit, this middle stripe here is going to stay white. And so this bottom bit is going to be a shadow. That's why we're doing that little line in there. Awesome. That's it for guidelines. There we go. That's it for guidelines. Right, should we go and put some colour on here now? So if you remember, we said about the accent colour, that pink. So we're going to go and use that pink first. The pink only appears in a couple of little places, but it's really important that where it appears in. It really pops out and looks great on this character. First thing is, you know the top circles, the little tiny circles that we did at the top there and just there. Grab that pink. You see that top curve that we've got there? That top curve, what we're going to do is just bring that curve down and put it in just about there. And then it's the bottom part that we colour in. Same on this side, look. That top curve there, we just bring that down and then it's the bottom part that we colour in. Hopefully you can kind of see that is just little, like almost like little pink lights kind of sticking out the top there. It'll make a lot more sense when we put the other colours in and put some outlines in. Last little bit of pink. The only other bit of pink is down here in this little section here. Let's go and throw in a heart shape right in the centre there. This heart, if you're not digging the heart, then that heart becomes a nose. So if you want to just put an oval in there, that'll be a nose. Eventually. I've got one side bigger than the other. I'm just going to correct that a little bit so it's not quite so obvious. Okay. We're good. Let's go and put some colour in the eyes now. Now, we're going to use the two blues. We're going to use a light blue and a sky blue. If you've not got these blues, then just use the light blue. Just use the lightest blue that you've got. We're going to leave a diagonal stripe in the middle of the eyes, which will be white. So we'll leave the sketchbook paper showing through there. So if you're using cardboard, you might want to stick a little bit of white in there in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off with the darker blue first. We're going to have a stripe of darker blue, then a stripe of light blue, and then a white. Okay. So just with the sky blue first then, let's go and do this. Across the top, let a diagonal line in that top bit there. Let me get in even closer. Diagonal line across the top bit, and little diagonal line, so you're only taking a little slice out. Little diagonal line at the bottom there. Do the same on both sides. Try and keep the diagonal line going in the same angle. You can see it's going the same angle as the shadow as well. That was obviously done on purpose. And we'll come back to those eyes. When they're dry, we'll come back and we'll add a little bit of light blue as well to kind of bridge between the sky blue and the white. But for the time being, let's go and grab the grey next. So it's just the regular grey, so it's the lighter of the two greys. There's the two greys that I'm using, so just the lighter of the greys. And what we're going to do is go into those. The only bit we're going to do is into that. Oh no, sorry, we're going to do two bits. One is in those attachments up the top here. We're going to thicken out the right hand side. So let's go just here, look. Thicken that bit out and colour in this right hand side area. Same on this side as well. Thicken it out, colour in the right hand side. And again, when we put the black outlines on there, it's going to make a lot more sense. We're going to put some little curves as well to really give that bit a little bit of shape. Down here, we've got that grey line going across. So let's colour in the bottom part into that grey as well. So you're going to go round that heart. Just across there as well, around the heart. Where we go next? Let's go back to the eyes. Eyes should be dry by now. So you'll notice what I try to do quite a lot when I'm planning my artwork is going backwards and forwards. So I try not to colour in two sections of the same area straight away because you've got a potential of a bleed in there. And as much as you can blend these pens, that's not what we're doing today. So go in with your lighter blue now. We've got those sky blue bits. We're going to go in with the lighter blue now. We're going to add another stripe, again in the same kind of diagonal direction. So just across here, look. And the same at the bottom there. Over on this side, do the same kind of thing. Doesn't matter if the edges are looking a little bit ragged, because we are going to put that green rim back, and really that will tidy up those ragged edges a little bit later. Next bit, let's move back into the main colours for our character. So you remember the two greens that we were going with? The two greens we were going with, let's stick with that lighter green. This is the main colour. I'm going to go and pop in some of this light green. First area is up top here. So with this lighter colour, up the top there, inside that small circle that we did, where we dropped in a little bit of pink, we're going to fill the rest of that gap with the lighter green. Now be careful, down here you have got some blue that's still a little bit wet, so don't try not to lean on that bit, but in there, look, let's go and colour that bit in with that light green first, and the same on this side. The next sections we're going to colour in with the regular green, so let's just move down to this bit and colour this bit in with the light green as well. So let's outline around there, and then the whole of the ear in this light green. Now remember to have your pen primed really nicely. Try not to press too hard, because you'll just get some little troughs appearing. What you want is for a nice even coat of paint to go on there, and then as it dries it should just settle nicely and become a flatter surface. If you press too hard you tend to get little white bits of the original sketchbook showing through. Down the bottom you could just sort of overlap here a little bit and just tidy up down the bottom. We are going to have a black line over that anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. But if you're anything like me, you just want to tidy things up anyway, just because there's an opportunity to tidy up. Let's go and do the other one. So we'll outline that top bit first, bring the colour down. You can see how the strokes of paint are going in the same direction as the actual object that I'm colouring in, so that if any strokes do show up, it's the same, going the same way as the object. Let's move down. Last little section then with the light green. This section. We're going around the outside of this circle. For the eye. And then colour all of this bit in green as well. Again, as much as possible, trying to follow the shape of the object for your pen strokes. Just means if your pen strokes do show through, they don't look quite as out of place. Last section with the light green. Let's go over this side. So we're going to outline the eye first. Whenever I'm colouring in, I always prefer to just outline the area that I'm going to be colouring in and then colour it in. Just means I don't have to think when I'm doing the actual colouring in part. Lovely. You can start to see some of the shape now coming out of this character. We are going to put the green bits on, the darker green bits on in a second, and that's going to make it look even better. Just giving mine a few seconds to dry, so I don't smudge it too much. And then let's go on with this, the darker green. So those bits at the top, let's go and colour those in first. And this is where you can just cut out a little bit of that pink if you wanted to. You can definitely see now, can't you, how the pink is like the inside part of that. It's almost like a little donut sitting on the top there. Let's do the other side. Again, mainly just to colour in. We are going to tidy up the edges with a black pen or a darker colour. You could get away with like a Prussian blue for outlining if you wanted to. English green might also look great as an outline colour. We'll see. Down the bottom, we're going to go around the eyes, bring those eyes back. So just in there, you know, we did those glassy bits. We can just go over that line again, just tidying up those glassy bits. And again, don't worry too much about it because we are going to put a black line around it. But sometimes it's just nice to tidy up these lines, just do a little bit of cutting in. Makes your artwork look a lot neater. Getting a little look of glass about it. And then the last bit in the green, that little rim around the bottom. So I'm just gonna thicken this out because they were all touching. See how the eyes do just touch the rim. There we go. Some definite shape coming out there now. You can see the dome of the head. You can see these round ears that look like kind of some sort of laser guns as well. We're just going to add a few more little elements to this, and then we'll have a little look, see how everyone's getting on. So if you did have that deep grey, then just go and put these little lines in here with the deep grey, just one in there and one in there, right in the middle of that. We're just going to try and get a bit of a chrome look going on there. I know that looks black on camera. Trust me, it is deep grey, and it will look more like deep grey when it's dried and when the black does go on. So just put those little stripes in there. The other thing we're going to do is just take one of your blues. It doesn't really matter which one, whatever one you think works best. I'm going to go with light blue. I think that's going to work better. And what we're going to do is just add some little lights to the outside edge of this helmet as well. So for example, over this side, let's put in little D shapes just there because they're sticking out on the edge. But then on this side, let's put those D shapes in about here. Well, not D shapes, that now they're actually lights, they're circles. Only do this if your green is dry enough for you to work on. And obviously feel free to add any extra little buttons, lights, bits and bobs that you want to put on there as well. The only thing I would say is just leave this space, especially down the bottom, leave that space free because we are going to put some teeth, some little buck teeth in there. But the rest of it is a bit of a freebie. If you wanted to put lights on these bits, you could do. Totally up to you. Right, let's have a quick look, see how everyone's getting on. So when you're ready, put yourself into gallery view. Top right corner of the screen, click on view, click on gallery view, and then if you're up for it, show us what your work looks like so far. Art's a team sport. You can learn loads from looking at other people's artwork and being inspired by that. Thomas, that looks insane, mate. I love the fact that it's just going off the top of the page as well. Don't try and squeeze it in, yeah? Just make it go off the top of the page. That's awesome. And the fact that you've gone really fat around the rim, around the bottom as well, and little tiny eyes as well. That's what it's all about, yeah? Just mixing it up with the sizes and that. Nice work, Thomas. Thank you very much. Christian, I think you were up next. Absolutely spot on. Nice big dome as a head there. That's perfect. Slightly smaller ears. Looking good. Yeah, perfect. Nice one. Cheers, Christian. Thank you very much. Harry, how you getting on, mate? Going for different colours. So, yeah, for yours, Harry, this is where you might want to bust out that white pen. So the stripe down the middle of the character, just above the nose, you might want to do that white. And the same with the bit inside the eyes. Definitely do the bit inside the eyes white. But I know you know what you're doing, so it'll be interesting to see how that comes out. Have you used like yellow in there as well instead of the grey? Yeah? Nice. Looks good, mate. Cheers, Harry. Anybody else, or are you busy colouring in? If you're busy colouring in, don't worry about it. Oh, Kelly, that looks dinky. Tiny little thing. Excellent stuff. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, get those little blue lights on so that they're dry when we come to do the outlining. But that looks really nice. I do love a square canvas. Right, let's. Should we do some outlining? Let's do some outlining. Back into speaker view then, everybody. Into speaker view, top right corner of the screen, click on view, click on speaker view. I'll change my camera so you don't have a look at me. Going to do most of my outlining with a 3M. But then we might just go with a 1M, do some extra little tiny details, some tiny skinny lines, especially on the inside of these, the tip of the ears, and on these metal bits down here as well. But let's get our primary lines sorted first, so the bulk of our lines. Okay, we'll start at the top, work our way down. There we go. So starting at the top, let's go and put these circles back in. So round here. And I'm making mine super wonky today. I've done a couple of sessions where I've tried to draw smooth lines. I'm going wonky with my lines this time, so go around them all twice. That little pink bit, let's bring that, outline that. And then around the bigger green section as well. There you go. And don't worry about the wonkiness of your lines. If you get some fat bits and thin bits in there, it's all going to add to the appeal towards the end of the session. So we've outlined it. We've outlined the tip of the ear. Let's go down to the big chunk of the ear now. Let's all do that bit. So generally when I'm outlining, I just stick one line in and hope for the best. And then when I double line, I go in with that second line to make it wonky. That's when I tidy up all the bits that I might have missed. So like down here, I've got a little bit of green on the outside here. That's where I double line just to make that a little bit thicker to hide that. There you go, hidden. Awesome. We'll come back up there later. Let's go over to the other ear. Same thing on the other ear then. So the hole first in the tip of the ear. Let's double line that. The little pink bit on the inside of the ear. Let's double line that. Remember just to press quite gently as well. Our paint, the undercoat of paint that we've done, is still soft. Normally I'd leave it a little bit longer than this to dry. So try not to press too hard because you will end up kind of scraping stuff up and messing your nib up. Let's go around with this bit again with that technique of hoping for the best with your first line. Tidying it up, making it wonky with your second line. If you get what I've just had there, you can see how smeary mine looks there. Don't panic about that, just let it dry. Don't try and fix it straight away because if it starts smearing and you try and fix it, you're just going to smear it even more. Best thing you can do, just leave it a few seconds. Clean your pen, make sure your pen's good. Then go over it again. Around the main part of the ear then. So you can see what I've done on there. Look, on this side it's a real nice curve. On that side, on this side I've made it a little bit too straight. So again, this is where I would double line to, that side. Double lining on that side is no problem. Looks nice. Double lining on this side, I'll probably put a little bit on the inside there, a little bit on the outside here, and then come back on the inside just to try and bring that curve back. So it's less straight. Sometimes you'll get away with it, sometimes you won't. Okay, we'll come back to that with the thinner lines. Let's move down a little bit now. Let's go and get inside that head. Let's do our first line, the big dome line, all the way across. We'll do these metal bits at the top in a little while, but let's get this big line done. So make sure your pen's primed. Anytime if you've kind of like not been drawing for 30 seconds, you want to just quickly give your pen a little stab somewhere. But let's go and do this big line. Just slightly into the rim on this side. Slightly into the rim on the other side. Let's double line that. I'm going to get rid of most of that green line in there as well. Next section, let's go around those little blue lights that we added in. We might want to give this a power line later, so don't worry if these lines are looking a bit thin at the moment, because we might give it a power line around the whole of the outside. So around the blue lights, both sides. Don't forget, if you've mispositioned something, if something's not looking quite right, just let it dry. You can always shift things over. You can make things disappear completely. That's the beauty of Posca pens. Okay, let's go around the eyes next, shall we? So one line around the outside. Wonk it up a little bit. One line around the inside. Again, I've gone smeary again, so just wait for it to dry. Prime your pen. Go back to it. Let's do the other eye. One line around, second line around, make it nice and wonky. No consistency about your lines. We are going to add some little internal shadows, I guess is the best way to explain it. Just to make things look a little bit more embossed around the eyes and around the nose. I'm just going to thicken off strategic lines. But we'll do the nose first, and this base down here, and then we'll do the more strategic bit. So outline the nose. We will come back and do the bits that attach the ears in just a second, but let's go and finish off this bit down the bottom. So big line going all the way across, 2 big lines in fact, one on the inside, one on the outside. My suggestion is try to practice kind of going from the right hand side to the left hand side, because then you can see where your pen's going to go. If you're going the other way, from the left to the right, you tend to have your hand in the way. So even though it feels a bit awkward, try and practice going this way around, because you can see exactly where you need your pen to go. Little tiny flicks either side, look, just tiny flicks that side, little tiny flick on that side, just a small overlap. And then let's go around the outside edge as well. Lovely. We have got a few more lines to do, but let's we're going to do some lines with a thinner pen. Let's get back up to those ears now. So down the bottom, just try to avoid leaning on it, but then go and outline these ears. Again, I've got a smear coming up. It is worth noting that the 3 M's do tend to, see, look, little smear there where I tried to draw it in and nothing came out. The flow, the paint flow of a 3M pen is a little bit slower than you want it to be. It tends to get blocked up a lot quicker than any other pen I've known. There you go. Let's go. So if it's happening to you, it's pretty normal. If it's not happening to you, well done. Beautiful. Right, the next few bits, we're going to put in some real thin lines. Then we'll put in those shadow lines that I was talking about as well. So one little look at where you should be at. That's kind of where you should be at with it. Let's go and grab your thin pen. So I'm using a 1M. 1M's a bit scratchy. 1MR is a lot smoother, but I can't really feel what's happening with a 1MR. So I like a 1M. But whatever thin pen you've got, let's just go working at the top here. What we're going to do is just going to reinforce the shapes that are happening around here. So just watch this. What we'll do is we'll take some thin lines that go in towards this pink bit. Just trying to make it look like that's the inside of this donut shape that we've got going on. So 3 or 4 lines, just kind of all kind of pointing down, maybe slightly changing the angle as we go around. So look there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just squeeze one the side there. You can afford to do more around the edges because that's where the lines are going to be closer together because of the angle that you're looking at them. So you can see how like that over there, it's a little bit closer together on the edge. Just there, it's a little bit closer together on the edge. Big gaps in the middle, that's the kind of thing you want to go for. That's good. Stick with that thin pen. Come down into these metal bits here. Let's reinforce the shape of these bits. So with that thin pen, try and do 2 curves. See if you can squeeze 2 curves in. So going across like this. You see, I've just put in those 2 thin black lines all the way across. Now it just makes that look like some sort of chrome shower hose pipe. Let's do the same on the other side or something similar. Two little curves, just gives it so much more shape. Let's move down. Next bit we're going to do downstairs is in between. We've got those like stripy bits. That white stripe. Whoops. There we go. That big white stripe that we've got going through the middle of the character. So just a thin line. Again with your 1M. Up to the top. Even though it's a thin line, you can double line it if you want to. or if you need to. Something like that. Yeah. We're gonna put in some thicker black lines. I want to give these eyes and the nose a little bit more shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the eyes first, and we're going to put a much thicker black line around the left hand side. So just across here, look. Much thicker black line there. Colour that in. And you can see how it's just pushed that bit of glass back. Let's try and do the same over this side. It might be a bit more obvious on this side. Just trying to push that bit of glass backwards. Now obviously that means we can bring these green bits, the rim around the eyes, we can bring that forwards by again just thickening this part of the line. And then let's try and do the same with the heart as well. Heart's a little bit trickier because of the shape of it, but we just want to thicken out this part. And it should just push it back just a little bit. Okay, let's have a little bit of fun with our character now. Let's go put in, let's put a little spot in there, maybe 2 spots. Let's give our character a power line. So this is where we go around the outside edge, just make it all a lot thicker. In fact, before we do that, I forgot, let's put the buck teeth in. So again, down here, use the white stripe that we've got going on there as a bit of a guide. Maybe take the first line going, see that curve there, the first line going from the middle of the heart, like that. Little upside down T kind of shape, and then bring those lines, the edges of the T back up to the rim, but make them a little bit wider. So we've got some teeth going on there. That's how it should be looking. So I'm going to go in with a 5M black. Now I'm just going to give the whole thing all the way around the outside. Now, if you were going to draw all the tentacles or bits, you know, you can put different stuff hanging out the bottom if you want to. If you're going to draw all that, then don't do this power line around the bottom. Just do it around the bits that are going to be the outside edge. Make sure everything's dry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a power line around half of the character so you can see what it looks like. You can make a call on whether you like the power line or whether you think it looks better without. It is a personal preference. There you go. So you can see now one half with a power line, the other half without. So you can decide which half you like the most. That's your power lined half. That's your unpower lined half. I'm in it now. I've already started, so I've got to finish it off. But yeah, it's time to have a little bit of fun with your character. Do something that will personalise it. Maybe add some extra stickers to it. Add some scratches and scuffs. Add some extra lights. That's one of the things I love about Posca pens, is the ability to be able to change things on the fly. So if you wanted to put extra lights in, you could. If you wanted to put rivets in, you could. I'm going to keep it nice and simple though. I'm just going to put some little drips on down the bottom here. And yeah, like I was saying about just really being able to play with the character. Look, you can do things like this. You can take that light green, put a drip that goes over the whole thing there. I'll come back to that in a second. Put some more on there. Let's put a drippy bit in there. Didn't really give it enough time to dry down there, so it has gone a little bit smudgy. Because it went a bit smudgy, just give it a quick dry, or let it dry, or blast it with a hairdryer. Put some extra drips on there. I kind of like that. Important as well to put those extra outlines around those drips if you think that's what it needs. Look at that. Give that a little bit of time to dry. Yeah, if you make it look a little bit beaten up, little quote marks everywhere, little lines, don't think about these lines too much, just find a space, chuck some in. With those drips, don't forget you can taper off those black lines that you put in there as well. So at the top there, make sure your pen's clean. Real sharp little tapers. Let's do this one down the bottom as well. And I think we are just about done there. So anything else you want to do to add to yours, to finish it off, now's the time. 30 seconds and then we'll have a little look. I'm just putting little rows of black dots here and there. I think they look quite nice. Oh, you didn't see that last one, did you? Last row of black dots in there. Add extra panels, extra rivets, put some screws in there. If you wanted to put some pupils in, you could put some pupils in. Even hair. bit of hair in if you want. Definitely needs some extra spots in here as well. Awesome. Right, let's leave it there, shall we? Little signature. And then we'll have a look at everybody's artwork. So this is Invader Bunny, part of the Zonk Freak Pet Squad.